Welcome to Storyflix. In this video, we will explain Liar X Liar. This movie tells the story of Minato Takatsuki, a girl who lives with her stepbrother, Toru. Toru is a handsome young man who likes to play with women, while Minato has never been interested in looking beautiful in front of men. Toru never refuses women who come to him, nor does he stop women from leaving him. His attitude made Minato uncomfortable around him because of how he treated women. Minato and Toru are the same age, and now they study at the same university. Will their relationship actually foster intrigue between the two? Let's find out in Liar X Liar. Liar X Liar begins by showing a girl wearing a high school uniform who falls down in the middle of the crowd of Shibuya. In front of the girl, a young man looked at her with an expressionless face. A few hours earlier, Minato was seen getting ready because she had promised to help her friends work that morning. Minato was then asked by her mother to wake her stepbrother, Toru. Feeling annoyed, she headed to her brother's room. But apparently, Toru had woken up and opened the door so hard that Minato hit her head. Minato was even more irritated. Moreover, she and Toru were not familiar with each other because of past events. Long story short, Minato finally arrived at her friend's workplace, a girl named Maki Nagichi, who works as a photographer. Maki asked Minato to be her model in this photo shoot. Minato then told about the incident she experienced this morning with her stepbrother, Toru, where she still seemed so annoyed with him. Instead of defending Minato, Maki compliments Toru's good looks and intends to ask him as a model one day. Minato then told Maki that Toru's attitude had been very annoying, especially because they always go to the same school. In junior high school, Toru is very popular because of his good looks and also his nickname as a playboy. Toru also often plays with women's feelings, so his ex-girlfriends, who feel hurt, often target and bully Minato because she is known as Toru's sister, even though she is only a half-sister. This apparently continued to high school and college level because Minato and Toru continued studying at the same university. Minato and Maki then went to downtown Shibuya for a photo shoot where Minato wore a school uniform and posed cutely like a high school student. Minato seemed reluctant, but Maki insisted. Seeing the unsatisfactory results of the photo, Maki then took the initiative to look for accessories and left Minato. When Minato was about to catch up with Maki, she accidentally bumped into someone and fell down. Minato was very surprised to find out that the person he bumped into was Toru, who seemed to recognize her, even though she was dressed like a high school student. Toru at first asks why Minato is in Shibuya dressed like that. But Minato lies and says that she is not his sister, but a high school girl named Mina Nagichi. Toru instantly believes and attracts Minato and gives her his phone number to meet again. The scene then switches and shows Minato and Maki having lunch together, where Maki seems to be laughing listening to the story of Minato and Toru meeting in Shibuya. Minato was annoyed because Toru was really a playboy and dared to approach a girl even though he had just met her. While having dinner at home with her family, Minato looked at Toru irritated. Her mother then asked about the photo shoot in Shibuya. But Minato immediately diverted the conversation by deliberately spilling soup on the table. Minato then plans to prank Toru to get revenge for him taunting her at dinner. Minato called Toru using a payphone and arranged a meeting with him. Minato purposely made Toru wait for hours to work on him the next day. But Toru didn't budge and kept waiting for Mina there, even though there was a beautiful woman who approached him. Disguised as Mina, Minato finally came and apologized for making Toru wait so long. Unexpectedly, Toru was not angry at all and asked her to have lunch together. Toru then gave a cell phone to Mina to make it easier for them to communicate with each other. Mina can't refuse Toru's gift for fear of exposing her disguise. She finally accepts the cell phone and lies after the lie begins. One day, while on a date, Toru takes Mina to a karaoke place where he seems impressed with Mina's singing ability. Mina then asked about Toru's love story, but Toru instead expressed his love for Mina. But immediately Mina refused and said that Toru is a typical playboy man who likes to play with women's feelings. Hearing this, Toru then confirmed that he would break up with all his girlfriends and asked Mina to be the one and only his girlfriend. Mina accepted Toru's request without thinking because she thought Toru would fail. Since then, Minato has always been surprised by the appearance of Toru, who is always covered in bruises every time he returns home, which shows Toru's seriousness in pursuing Mina Nagichi's love, which is none other than herself. Meanwhile, Minato seemed nervous in the room if Toru managed to do it because it would mean she would be dating her stepbrother. A few days later, Toru meets Mina again and reveals that he has broken up with all his girlfriends and asks Mina to be his girlfriend according to the agreement. Mina and Toru are finally officially dating. When Minato was at home, Toru then called to ask her out on a date. Her mother, who found out that Minato had 2 cell phones, immediately assumed that Minato had a job as a comfort woman. But Minato immediately denied it and rushed off. Mina and Toru then go on a date, where Toru tells Mina about things that make him feel happy. After that, they chatted and Toru then hugged Mina before going home. A few days later, Minato tells Maki about a relationship with Toru, who is now a couple. Minato's plan to change Toru so that he is no longer a playboy has succeeded. But now she wants to end her love affair with Toru and asks Maki to help her. Hearing this, Maki then arranges a plan to hold a blind date where she will invite Toru and some very fashionable beauties who are Toru's ideal type. Maki and Minato thought that Toru might be attracted to them and Mina could end her relationship with Toru based on Toru's infidelity. That night, Minato and Maki put the plan into action. The beautiful women seem so attracted to Toru because of his good looks. Maki then sends a message to Toru using Mina's cell phone and asks where he is. If Toru was lying, then the first stage of their plan had already worked. However, Toru was not lying and sent a message to Mina that he was in the middle of a blind date. Even Toru immediately rushed home when Minato and Maki asked him to go home. Both of them seemed surprised by the seriousness of Toru, who wanted to be a man who was loyal to Mina. After that, Toru messaged Mina and asked her to meet him. Not long after, Mina finally came and Toru hugged her. Mina was embarrassed that Toru hugged her in public and then pushed him away. Toru then gave Mina a key which turned out to be a spare key to his apartment because Toru had moved out of his parents' house and decided to live alone. Hearing this, Minato thought back to her school days where she once caught a girl coming out of Toru's room and assumed that they had slept together. Minato is increasingly worried about being trapped in a romantic relationship with her stepbrother. She then told Maki this, who advised her to break up with Toru before things got worse. The next day, Mina came to Toru's apartment and immediately expressed her desire to end her love affair with Toru because she and her family would move to Ecuador. At first Toru seemed silent. But then, he cried in frustration and immediately hugged Mina because he didn't want to lose her. On the other hand, Minato felt very guilty for hurting Toru's feelings. But she was forced to do so that they would no longer be trapped in a relationship full of lies. Several months later, one of Toru's friends visited Minato, who asked her about Toru's whereabouts. It turns out that Toru did not go to campus or reply to messages from his friends after his love affair with Mina ended. Minato, who seemed worried about her stepbrother's condition, then took the cell phone that Toru had given her and headed to his apartment. Minato was surprised when she met Toru, whose face looked very pale and thin. Minato realized that Toru was holding a book related to Ecuador, which indicated that he had not been able to forget Mina Nagichi's figure. Toru, who was annoyed, then asked Minato to leave and close his apartment door. Minato, who felt increasingly guilty for lying and hurting Toru, then went to see Maki and asked her to dress her as Mina Nagichi, where she intended to treat Toru's wounds. Mina then met Toru, who looked happy and immediately hugged her when they finally met again. Mina then invites Toru out on a date. They spend time together by going to the playground, visiting many places and looking so happy. That night, Mina and Toru seemed to be involved in a serious conversation where Mina then asked about Toru, who had said that she was very similar to someone he knew. Toru, who looked gloomy, then replied that at this time he didn't want to talk about someone who looked like Mina. The next day, Toru expresses his desire to break up with Mina because it turns out Toru has been harboring feelings of love for someone who is similar to her. Toru has always thought of Mina as that person and tried to love her. But he realizes that he can't lie to his own feelings, so he decides to end their love affair. In the evening, Toru decides to return to his parents' house, where he then only has dinner with his parents because Minato hasn't come home yet. His mother then talked about Minato having 2 cell phones, which immediately raised suspicion in Toru's mind. At first, Toru tried to dismiss the allegation. But they all seem very related. When he tried to call Mina's cell phone, it turned out that the sound of the cell phone ringing was heard in the next room, which was none other than Minato's room. The next day, Minato decides to tell Toru the truth because she doesn't want to hurt her stepbrother any further with all her lies. While walking, Minato suddenly bumped into someone who made her fall, and it turned out that the person she hit was Toru. This incident reminded Minato of her first meeting with Toru when she was Mina Nagichi. Minato then felt very surprised when she saw Toru holding the cell phone that Toru gave to Mina. Minato and Toru then talk to each other in a quiet place where Minato admits that she is Mina Nagichi and apologizes to Toru for lying to him. Minato reasoned that at first she only wanted to repay Toru because of his actions in the past, where he often played with the feelings of many women, so that it always troubled her who was known as his sister. Toru was apparently not angry with Minato and instead revealed that the person he had loved all this time was Minato. Toru first met Minato when their parents introduced them to each other and then decided to get married. Toru fell in love with Minato since childhood. But after growing up, he realized that he would never be able to unite with Minato because they were family. Therefore, he vents his frustration by playing with the feelings of women. But apparently, at the same time, Toru also injured Minato, who was the target of bullying his ex-girlfriends. Toru is also always in the same school and the same campus as Minato because he wants to always be near her. After explaining everything and knowing each other's feelings, Toru then took Minato to the place where they first met when they were little. After that, he kissed Minato, saying that their game of lies was over and from now on, he would love her openly. Their parents looked happy when they found out that Toru and Minato loved each other and approved their relationship. The film ends with Toru and Minato finally getting married and living happily. The moral we can learn from this film is never to play with fire by starting a relationship based on lies, because it will only lead to misery for ourselves and others. Speak the truth, even though it feels bitter and painful, because telling the truth is better than living a lie.